Hey beauties, welcome back to Real Girl Talk Podcast Radio. I am your host, Sherry Ricard. I'm a medical professional, business leader, author, speaker, and adversity recovery expert, bringing you fascinating guests, business, beauty, and lifestyle tips to help you create a beautiful life. And always committed to keeping it real. Now let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're having an amazing day today. My guest, Stephanie Obi, is the queen of online course creation. She has been helping entrepreneurs to create and sell premium courses for years. She is the founder of Trayny and best-selling author of the book, Knowledge is the New Gold. And today on Real Girl Talk, she is pulling a lot of her tips and secrets out of her book to tell us how to create the perfect framework for a successful online course. Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yay! So, I brag, and I'll tell you, I do brag. I brag on the fact that I know women all over the world, and you are no exception because you are coming to us from Nigeria. You are the second person that I know from Nigeria, so I'm very excited to have you on the show. And you also are basically, to me, because I told you I bought your book years ago, you are the queen of knowing how to create an online course. And really anyone that has wanted to learn how to do an online course, if you don't know what you want your course to be about, or if you have an idea and you don't know where to start, Stephanie is the queen. And so I am very excited to have you. Welcome to Real Girl Talk.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I love your accent too. And you probably think I have a country accent, don't you? You're probably thinking, gosh, where is this girl from in the United States? Because she has a country accent, but I'm not country. I'm really not. Let's talk about online courses. For someone doesn't understand the financial benefits to having an online course, but they've heard of it. Maybe they've heard of, I have no idea what I would have an online course about. Where should someone start?
So that's a very interesting question because I just want to also say this, that before I got into online courses, I also didn't know that they existed. I didn't know that it was a huge, amazing opportunity. I actually stumbled into it.
Nice.
So I'll share that very quickly. I used to make accessories. So I was an accessories designer, and I would make accessories. I just enjoyed it. It was my hobby. I did it for years.
Nice.
And then I turned it into a business. I started selling these accessories. Then after a while, I started feeling like teaching other people how to make accessories. So I started by having small workshops in my house, in the garage of my house, just small workshops. People would come, and I would teach them. I would just be happy. I started putting the pictures and the videos online, short clips. Oh, see what I did today. People started asking me, oh, I don't live in your city, but I want to learn this thing. How can I attend the class? So I kept on getting requests from different places. And because I couldn't travel to all these different places because I had a job. And so I just said, maybe if I put this thing online, maybe if I just, create some videos and put it online, let me see if it will sell.
That was a smart idea, wasn't it?
So I put up online and it started selling. Before I knew what was happening, my monthly salary from my 9-to-5 job was equal to what I used to earn from my online course. I just said, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Wow.
And that's when I realized the power of online courses.
Yes.
And at the time, because I live in Nigeria and Africa, it's not as popular as it is like in other parts of the world, but it's a thing. Around me, nobody I knew was launching online courses, knew anything about online courses. And it was just this big opportunity. So, I made it my life mission to start talking about online courses because that's if you're saying you don't know anything and what can you teach, that's the thing. You already have something.
Right.
So many times, there are things that we already know, we take it for granted. All things, but they come so easily to you that you don't even believe that there are people out there who want to learn this thing. So it's almost mind-boggling to think that this thing that I do so easily, so freely, so I just do it. I can even teach it to my friends for free. some other person in a different part of the world can pay me to learn it. Yeah.
Nice. You know what? I love that, because one thing that I did not think about is I could actually do an online course for my vision board workshop, because every year I do a vision board workshop. It's live. I can't this year because of COVID, but I do it every year in South Louisiana. It's live. And so many people are like, Sherry, I can't come. It's too far. Is there a way that you could, maybe do something live? But in actuality, I could do an online course teaching something that I already know. So I don't think people,
Yeah.
I don't think, like you said, I don't think people realize that it's all in what you know. You could be a real estate agent and you could teach people how you've become so successful. Teach other agents things that you do as far as bringing interest online, or how you walk through your homes, or how you talk to your clients. Anything that you already know, you can teach. Okay, so say someone
Yeah.
has a couple of ideas of how they want to do an online course. Where should they start from there?
I always advise that before you launch an online course, you test the idea. So before you go and do this huge, massive, huge, massive thing, first of all, check to see if there are actually people who are already paying for that kind of knowledge. So are there already online courses on that topic? If there are, it's a good sign. Are there already other experts who talk about that topic? If they are, it's a good sign. If you even know anyone you can speak to who would like to pay for the course, or who would like to learn that skill before you go and start creating videos, that's a great idea, because it helps you to test your ideas, test your assumptions. Okay, am I sure if this thing would sell? Is there really a demand for it? So in your case now, where people are telling you that, oh, I wish you had an online version, you can do a simple thing. I send them an email to say, hey guys, I am thinking about turning this into an online course. Are you interested? Send me just, like reply and just say, yes, I'm interested. So already you have a waiting list of people who are waiting for you to launch your course. And that's actually the best way to do it, that you have a list of people who are interested in your course, so that when you go and now create the videos, you have a ready audience who's ready to buy.
That makes sense. So so you're saying that you should reach out to people that you already know and
Yes.
and ask them whether this is something that they would have an interest in, or
Yes.
maybe if they think there's someone that they know that would have an interest in that. So do you
Yes.
have particular platforms that you like to create your online courses on versus others?
So because I live in Nigeria, we have certain limitations. So, when I started launching my courses online, I couldn't use all the tools that they use in other countries. And so what happened? I had to build my own tech platform.
Wow.
So I talk about mine because that's what we built. We built a
Wow.
tech platform that makes it easy for Africans to launch online courses. But the thing is, it's not only Africans that can use it. It's a great platform for everybody. They can use it too. But it was built out of my frustration of trying to launch online courses and not being able to receive payments, for instance, not being able to automate certain things. And so, we buckled down and started building a solution.
You're so impressive. So you built your own platform because
Yes.
you weren't able to have the benefits. Like, say, for us in these States, there are a lot of different platforms that we can use, and you just set up payments, no big deal, and you get paid no matter what the platforms
Yes.
are. You didn't have that opportunity. And so you
Yes.
created your own platform. I love that,
Yes.
because it makes me think about that quote that if someone doesn't invite you to sit at the table, then you need to create your own table and make your own seat. Build your own table if you're not invited to sit at someone else's.
Yes.
I love that. So let's talk about your platform then, for someone that wants to be able to have a platform to start their online course. Where do they find your platform, and how do they get started on your platform?
The name of our platform is called Train Quarters, and they can just visit www.trainquarters.com. And I'll tell you a number of things that you should look out for in any tech platform. First thing first is that the online course world can get very techy and complicated. So when you look at other people who are launching online courses, you can get scared that, oh, no, this thing is too much.
Right,
It's too
right.
much. So one of the things to look out for is an easy to use platform. What platform can I use even if I'm not a techie? Okay, so many times you may have seen some bigger brands who are launching online courses, and you might think that that is the only way. What they're doing is the only way. It's not true. You can launch yours easily with easy to use tools that won't make you feel stupid when you get there. You know what to click. I can do this. I can control my video. So that's the first thing you want to look out for, something that's easy to use. The second thing is you want to look out for a platform that allows you to do a number of things, because in the online course world, there are so many different things, so many different balls. So first of all, you have to have a platform for hosting videos. You also have to have a platform for sending emails to your audience. You also have to have a platform for receiving payments. So you want to find a platform that, as much as possible, combines all these different things, so that you're not paying for a lot of tools, because then it can get very expensive when you're paying for this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool. Especially because you're just starting, it's great to use a platform that has a lot of functionalities, so that you can save
Right. So what do you suggest if you're starting an online course, or say you have an idea that you want to start an online course teaching people how to, I don't know, teach second graders, how to prepare your child for second grade. And you're creating an online course to teach parents basically how to prepare their children for elementary school. What do you suggest that we start with? Do you start with videos? How do you create your modules, and how do you know what order to put those in?
Great question. Fantastic. I love the question. Here's the thing. When you're about to start teaching people, there's so much you know.
Right.
You are the expert.
Right.
There's so much you know. So the first thing to get clear about is to decide, what exactly am I going to teach? What I mean by that is, this person that I want to teach, where are they starting from, and where are they going to? What's the first thing I have to teach them, and what's the last thing I'm going to teach them?
Okay.
It can get very tempting for you to try to teach everything that you know, and when you start to do that, it gets overwhelming. The student is like, oh my God, these are plenty of videos. So you first of all decide that I'm going to teach from here to here. Okay, just this. I'm not going to teach everything I've learned in my past, how many years. I'm just going to teach them how to do this one, two, three things. Then when you've decided what you're going to do, you then start breaking it down. So this is the first step I'm going to explain to them. The second step, first, I advise that you write it on paper first, or you type it out, whatever works for you. Have an outline first. When you have an outline, you can be clear that, okay, this is what I'm going to teach. So have an outline, and then you now start creating your videos based on the outline. So video creation comes last, because you are being guided by the outline.
Right. So if you create your first thing you want to teach them and the last thing, then you actually know where to start and where you plan on ending. And so it's a little bit easier. I didn't think about it that way. It's a little bit easier to fill in the blanks when you know you want to end, because it's true, when you know so much about a topic, it's really hard, because you just want to give everybody everything, but then they can get lost if you don't teach it strategically in the order that your student needs to learn. Now, once you create your online course, like you created your outline on paper, and you you find the platform, that they want to use, and they start to upload that. How do you suggest marketing that course where it reaches the most people and you get the best results? Because you can have an online course, but if you don't market it and get it out there, then it's really kind of dead in the water, right? I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. So what do you suggest as far as marketing an online course?
So I'm going to share a few tips. Number one is that when you want to market an online course, you're going to be marketing to people, and people have hesitations. All right. So if you can't just come and say, hey, here's my online course, here's the link, pay for it. They want to know, who are you? Do you actually know what you're saying? Why should I believe you? Why should I invest in you? So one of the things that you want to do before you launch your online course is to, first of all, attract an audience, and then start talking to them consistently. All right. So you talk to them, you can send them weekly emails. You can talk to them on social media consistently. And what you're doing is that you're getting them to know who you are. You're getting them to see you, to know your achievements. You can also tell them, share stories. And the more they read from you, they see you, you no longer become a stranger that they just discovered on the internet. You now become somebody who they're beginning to trust. So the first thing is gathering this audience. The second thing is giving them content consistently. And then the third thing is asking them to buy, giving them emails after a while and saying, okay, it's time to buy now. Asking them
Buy
to
now.
buy. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Here's the beautiful thing about marketing. Sometimes if somebody meets you in the first year, they may not buy. It's okay. You just continue.
Right.
The next year, you continue marketing. They may not buy the second year. Just continue. So
Right.
people will be meeting, people will be finding you at different times. Some people will find you immediately and then they'll pay for your course because they really need it. Some people will find you in 3 years' time and then something will happen in their lives that will make your online course a priority and then they'll buy. So the mindset around the online course thing is that I'm going to consistently share content, build my audience, nurture them, position myself as an expert, and keep on asking people to buy. So in a broad sense, that's how I can explain it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because I'm a true believer in that people buy from those that they like, know, and trust. And it's very hard to sell someone something, even though you're genuine and you know what you're talking about. People are a little hesitant, like you said, until they trust you. And they trust you, and then they begin to like you. And when they like you, they trust you, and they feel like they know you, then they're more apt to buy from you versus someone else, because there could be a lot of people that are teaching that particular course. I know that I have an online course called Writer's Roadmap, and I only open it a couple of times a year, because I can't be consistent in helping my students every single day. So I don't think it's fair to just open my course and let them join anytime they want, because I'm not there to nurture them and really guide them and answer their questions. So I actually open Writer's Roadmap a couple of times a year, and it teaches people from A to Z on how to write a book, how to create a book cover, and I can show you how to do all that for free. Anyone can put a book out there and have a book cover and not spend a dime, and I can show you how to do it. But I don't open it but just a couple of times a year for that reason, because I want to be available, to answer questions. So I like that you said that, because you really do have to be online and you have to be able to market your course in order to be able to get that audience and build that relationship, so they begin to know and trust you, and they want to buy from you. So once you create that course, Stephanie, and you start marketing that course, how do you suggest that you are able to get people that will, I don't know, maybe subscribe to your website so you can build an email list? Because I believe marketing too is being able to build an email list. Do you have any insight on how to do that?
Now, I'm going to share a lot of ideas, but there are ideas that you can pick based on your availability. There are ideas you can set up, and if you're too busy and you can't focus on it every day, they'll just keep bringing it leads for you. But
Right.
there are things that you have to be on social media all the time. It just depends on you. But I'm going to just give you a number of different ideas. First things first, I always say start with the basics. The basics is that you should have a freebie, a free gift that somebody can opt into. That's the basics. Have a free gift that somebody can opt into, like a PDF resource or something simple, and you have a landing page that people can be led to. They'll put their names and email address and they get it. So that's the basics. Have that first. Secondly, you then sprinkle this link everywhere. So if you're on Instagram, put it on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, put it on Facebook. If you're on LinkedIn, put it on LinkedIn. Yeah. Wherever you are, you're on your website, put it there. So put it everywhere you have a presence. Another simple thing you can do, you can send a mail to your friends, to your network, saying, hey, I wrote this really helpful guide. If you know anybody who might need it, please feel free to share it along. Something as simple as that. That
Sure.
is, if you're starting from 000, that will get you some traction. All right. Second, other thing you can start doing is you can start writing. So you can write blog posts. If you have a website, you can decide that you're going to be writing blog posts once a week, or depending on the frequency that you decide, to write. You can decide once a week, you can decide twice a month, but you just write consistently. And then at the bottom of your blog post, you put the link to your free guide. Okay.
Mm.
Now you can take it a little step further. You can pitch other people. There are people who have blogs that they accept guests to write on. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when you go there, there are different guests that you can that write on the platform. So you can go there, so you can pitch yourself. And I would like to write on this topic. People are
Nice.
always looking for experts in all sorts of topics. So when you go, you can write, and at the bottom, you can include the link to your free guide. All
Mm.
right. You can decide that you are going to um, organize a virtual summit or be a guest in a virtual summit. I don't know if you've seen virtual
Mm.
summits before. There are these things that a lot of people come together, and then they have this summit, but it's online. So one easy way to go about it is just to be a guest. So there are many people who are looking for speakers on their get on or to be on their summit. You can just pitch yourself to them, and they will when you go and speak on their summit for 30 to 45 minutes, at the bottom of it, you can ask people to sign up for your free guide. Okay. And what's great about this is that everybody in the summit is listening to you as the expert, and then you give them the next step: sign up for my free guide. And so they're going to sign up. Okay. Another tip is what I'm doing here. I'm speaking in a podcast.
That's right.
And at the end, if you want to learn more from me, I'll relate it to my own free guide, and you can sign up for the free guide. All right. Another tip is to have your own Facebook group. If you're somebody who loves connection, you love people, you like to interact with people, that's something you can easily do. Have a
Nice.
Facebook group. And let me tell you the amazing thing about Facebook. Facebook sends people to your group. The algorithm sends people to your group. So if
Right.
you have a group, people can just be entering the group at different times. And when they join, you say, hey, are you here? I'm sure you're here because you want to get more tips on how to do this. Click on this link and you'll be led to, they'll join your email list. Okay. Another strategy is to do a challenge, a free challenge. This one, I
Challenge.
did this thing
Okay.
and it blew up my email list. Do a free challenge. You can say, we're going to do a something 5 Insta stories in 5 days. So just giving people a prompt to do something. You as the expert, it becomes so easily to you, but to a lot of people, they want to be challenged. So they will
Nice.
sign up to the challenge, and you have their free gift. So I can keep going on. I can keep going on. But there are many ways. Speaking engagements, by the time you become known, people will start inviting you to speak. And one of the things you can do when you go out there to speak is to give them your free guide. All right. Now, if you don't have time for all these different things that I've shared with you, you can just run Facebook ads.
Yeah, that's
You can
true.
run Facebook ads, and have a small budget if that's what you want, and just allow it to run. It just keeps running, and then your email list is growing. Your email is growing. People are finding you at different times. Yeah. So those are
Nice.
some strategies.
Well, and I don't think that people realize that Facebook ads for $5 US dollars for $5, you can run a Facebook ad to reach hundreds of people. Now, of course, the more money you throw at Facebook, the more they're going to, reach a bigger audience. But you could buy a $5 Facebook ad just to get it out there. And I think too,
Yep.
sometimes if you'll run an ad that's actually a video, to me, a video ad on Facebook speaks volumes versus just a picture.
Yes.
If you have just a picture, you may get a few people that click on it and want to read it, but for the most part, people are lazy, Stephanie. They don't want to read, they want to watch and they want to listen, right? I mean, and I'm not talking down to anybody because I'm lazy like that too. I probably have a book sitting by my chair in my living room, and it'll take me months to read that book, because every now and then I pick it up and I just want to read. I love to read. I love to educate myself. And I believe that personal development and growth is amazing, that we have that ability to do it. But I will watch 10 webinars to every one book that I read. I will listen to 10 podcasts to every one book that I read. And that's just me. I could be the only one like that, but I highly doubt it. I'm thinking a lot of people, they like to listen, and they like video. I know that when I incorporated my video, just snapshots of my podcast, so people could see who my guests are, and I started putting that on Instagram instead of just a picture and promo picture, we put promo videos out. And when we started putting them on Facebook, literally our downloads doubled. And I have a ton of downloads for my podcast anyway. But when people started seeing my guest, even for 3 minutes on Facebook and 1 minute on Instagram as a promo versus a picture, my downloads doubled. And it's because they want to connect with that voice. They actually go, oh, okay, well, I saw Stephanie. I saw that little video clip. I know what she looks like. So now they're listening to you, and and that's just the way it is. That's just how people respond. So those are really, really good tips. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I love that you are in another country and you've come to join us today. I love it. And all of these tips that look at my notes. I'm writing them all down. So I have a page here full of notes from you, and I'm going to incorporate some of these because, when my next Writer's Roadmap launches in a couple of months, well, actually, I think it's a month because I launch it in the spring. So I launch it in March, and then I launch it again in the fall. And these are some things that I didn't do. I didn't really talk about it on, virtual summits, and I'm on virtual summits all the time. I'm actually on one this Sunday, and I do a lot of speaking summits online, but I never thought about plugging my course. I usually just talk about my podcast show. I don't really talk about my course. And then some reason I expect people just to know. That's crazy. If you have an online course, you have to get out there and you have to be able to tell people about it, even if it's just, Facebook, social media, or you're buying a $5 ad. I think that's great advice. Yeah. So, and you are the queen. So we are going to listen to the queen. So I want you to tell everybody first tell everybody about your book. I know that your online course book. Tell us everybody about that.
All right. So I wrote a book called Knowledge is the New Gold. Knowledge is the new gold. I have
it. It's right down here. I read it. I read it on an airplane from cover to cover.
I'm sharing how knowledge is the new gold, the opportunities that abound in the online course world. I'm also sharing about some of the mindset blocks that stop people from launching an online course. So things like, I'm not an expert. I don't feel like I'm an expert. I'm not a techie. I'm not sure anyone will pay. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I don't have time. I'm camera shy. I don't feel good enough. I don't feel comfortable charging for this thing that I learned for free. Right. So there are many things that might stop you from creating an online course, and we addressed all of those things. Because look, when you create an online course, yes, you can make money, you can make a lot of money, but that's not all. You will also be impacting people's lives in ways that you have no idea about. You have no idea the kind of impact you have. Look, Cherry, when I started launching online courses, people reach out to me to say, Stephanie, before I took your online course, I was in a bad relationship. Look, my course is not about relationships. I don't know anything. That's what I'm talking about. But they come and tell me I was in a bad relationship. My self-esteem was gone. When I took your course and I got a skill, I started making money for myself. I became self-confident. I started going after my dreams. Right. So this thing I say, you have no idea how far your work will change people's lives. Right. And then in the third part of the book, I also shared my signature framework of launching online courses, because when I discovered that online courses were amazing, I got so excited. I quit my job, my full-time job. I used to work at L'Oreal. I quit and I decided to face online courses full-time. and it was a disaster. I could
Oh.
not replicate my first success. It was almost as if I was something that just happens once. Like
Mm.
it was a fluke. I
Mm.
couldn't replicate it. I kept trying to launch more online courses, and people were not buying it. And I said, "What's wrong? I've launched an online course before. It has made me money. Why am I not able to launch another profitable online course?" All right. And so it took me a long time. I had to go back to retrace my steps to see what I did right the first time. And then
Ah,
I started, improving myself, and I came up with a framework. This framework has now helped hundreds of women to successfully launch their own online courses. So in the third
wow.
part of the book, I dived down to the framework, where I shared all the different steps. So some of the things I shared with you today about how to grow your email list is from the framework. Like
Right.
before you launch your course, spend some time growing your audience and talking about it, so that when you launch your course, people buy. All right. So there are many
Right.
more things I learned in this journey. I've been launching online courses now for 8 years, and so I have built such a huge, huge
You're the queen.
huge level of yeah. So I, so I shared it all in the book. Knowledge is the new gold.
It's a great book. And I am going to, guys, you can also go back to my podcast and you can look at the keynotes. I'm going to have a link that will go straight to Stephanie's book from there. I will mention it online on my Instagram and Facebook when we launch this show. I will also have a link so you can go to the book, because I loved that book. It was basically the framework that I used to do my online course. So when I did Writer's Roadmap, it was after I read your book, and I used a lot of that framework, and I did very well when I launched that course. And I am going to actually relaunch that in March. So thank you, Stephanie. This was perfect timing to have you on the
Yeah.
show. Tell everybody where we can find you on social media.
All right. So I'm very active on Instagram. I love Instagram. So you can find me at Steph Obi, at Steph Obi, STEPHOBI.
OPI. Yeah, because I wanted to make her last name
OBI.
I wanted to make her last name difficult, and it's not. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you so, so much.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for tuning in all the way through Real Girl Talk. Make sure you subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you happen to have iTunes, would you do me a huge favor and leave us a rating and review of the show? That's the way that we get this message out to more and more people around the world. And giving us a review and rating, something good is going to come back your way. Plus, I know you're the type of person that wants others to live their best lives. So can you copy this link, share it to your friends, share it on social media? Remember, people need to be inspired. They need to have tips. They need to have business ideas more than ever right now. And I know that you can help me on this mission. Thank you again so much. If you want to be a supporter of the show, go back to realgirltalkpodcast.com, click Be a Supporter. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being a part of Real Girl Talk podcast. And until next week, keep your encouragement tank full, your faith in God, and create your beautiful life.